Welcome to Becoming Limitless. This is the podcast for entrepreneurs who want to optimize their brain and their body with biohacking. I'm going to teach you how to eliminate brain fog and upgrade your health so you can have more productivity, energy, and growth in your business. I'm your host, Tanessa Shears. Let's jump in. Welcome to the first official episode of the Becoming Limitless podcast. I am so excited to be doing this episode and to have you listening in. So thank you so much for listening to our very first episode. We're talking today about why the future of entrepreneurship is in biohacking and optimizing your health. That's what we're going to be talking about today. And I want to jump in just by introducing myself really quick. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Tanessa Shears. I am a kinesiologist and health consultant to entrepreneurs. So basically what I do is I act as a brain and body optimization coach. So I work with data and biohacking and science. And what I do is I help entrepreneurs optimize not only their sleep, but the way they exercise and how they eat and how they manage stress and their work productivity so that they can optimize to 90% of their performance capacity so that they can scale their businesses faster. That's what I do. And so instead of spending this first episode telling you about me and my story, I'm going to weave that into the first couple episodes instead and get right into talking about the future of entrepreneurship. So in order to help you better understand my philosophy and how I love to think of the work I do with entrepreneurs, I want you to picture this. Imagine that you just went and bought the most high-powered computer. You have the best graphics card, the fastest processing system, the best memory. Everything about this computer is the best of the best of the best. It's one of the highest powered computers you could buy. And you're so excited to use this computer and bring it home. And then you put it in the cupboard and you forget all about it. You don't even bother to open up the box, turn on the computer, and see what it's truly capable of. This is how entrepreneurs treat our brains. We have this amazing supercomputer and powerhouse inside of our head, but the way we treat it is as if we never take it out of the box, turn it on, and find out what it's truly capable of. We, eat lousy food and we don't get enough sleep and we stay sedentary all the time. The way this affects our brain is as if we're only operating at 50% of our brain's potential, its peak capacity to create results and to get to work. What I love to think is that what would you be capable of? And what is possible for you if you were able to take your brain out of the box? So together, through these podcasts and through the actionable tips I'm going to be giving you, I want to ramp your brain up to 90% of peak capacity. I want you being that super powered computer, and I want you to take it out of the box, and I want you to do amazing things with it. So the tricks that I'm going to be sharing with you over the coming weeks are all going to be in efforts to get your brain operating at 90% of peak capacity. We're taking your brain out of the box. One of the main ways we're going to be doing that is addressing brain fog. Brain fog is something we've likely all experienced at one time or another, but maybe you didn't have a name for it or you didn't know what to call it or even how to fix it. So brain fog is what is killing entrepreneurial energy. It's caused by inflammation in our body, and we're going to be going over so many strategies to help you deal with that inflammation. If you've never heard of brain fog before, it's just a collection of symptoms, and it might include things like being forgetful or feeling just low energy and having fatigue. You're just not really feeling alive and have your energy being high. It might feel like, you're feeling confused or you're sitting in I don't know and you're not able to make sharp decisions. Brain fog also shows up as that inability to focus and maintain concentration, and you just become easily distracted all the time. And it can even show up too as thinking that feels really clunky or cloudy. It's kind of like it's not smooth. It's not flowing the way you want it to be. And none of those symptoms of brain fog are helpful at all when you're trying to run a business. And how this might show up in your business is, when you go to sit down to either write a sales page or you want to write a newsletter or you want to write a caption for a post you're creating, and you're just staring blankly at your screen. You're feeling really uninspired and you can't come up with fresh ideas to, make things exciting and new, and you just feel like you have nothing to give. Or it might even feel just like a lack of motivation where you'd rather turn and watch Netflix or do anything else but show up at your desk. It feels like, you're uninspired when you're creating, or maybe you're even experiencing overwhelm. Your days just feel like they're becoming too much and there's too much on your plate and you're not getting through your to-do list and you're just finding that you can't manage everything on your plate. So maybe you go home and you feel short-tempered and, maybe your responses to your clients and your customers aren't the quality that you would normally expect of yourself, or you're snapping at your spouse, or you're short with your kids. These are all things that are results of brain fog. You're just getting easily frustrated. And one of the biggest things that we can watch for as far as brain fog is that midday energy crash. So I'm talking about, that anytime between noon and 3, when your energy just starts to wear off and you just really feel like calling it quits for the day. It's kind of like your brain dead time. That is a brilliant symptom of brain fog. And none of these things, like I said, are going to contribute to you developing a successful business. I'm going to be helping you directly take control of your brain fog with science and coaching and biohacking. So have you heard of biohacking before? Sometimes we like to think of things like biohacking, like is it like computer hacking or is it illegal? But what biohacking actually is it's hacking your own biology. It's helping to improve your health and your well-being and your longevity through self-experimentation. We like to look at data. We like to look at results. We like to look at methods of recording to be able to easily see, is this getting me results or isn't it? And then taking our answers we find and being able to either make changes or stick with what we're already doing. So biohacking is just a way of experimenting on yourself. It's that way we like to take control of our health and have it on our own terms through things we intentionally put into play. And the core of this whole biohacking movement is using our biology and coming up with solutions to improve the way we function and our health and the way our brain performs and how we feel each day. And biohacking doesn't have to be like all techie and, monitoring brain waves and heart rate and tracking your sleep, although it can be. But biohacking can even just be simply broken down to meditating or exercising in a way that gets you results faster and makes you feel better. There are so many ways of biohacking that are truly effective and simple, and I'm going to show you how you can put simple strategies into play every single day. And it was kind of interesting. I never really understood what biohacking was, and I found it by chance. So a couple of years ago, my husband and I decided to do a 3-month challenge in which we took all sugar and flour out of our diet for 3 months because we wanted to see what the effects would be. So I remember so clearly we were sitting in bed and we looked over at each other. We're like, if we do this, what are we going to eat? I mean, what replaces sandwiches? And what replaces like pasta as a main dish? Like, we are spaghetti lovers. Like, how do you eat when you remove sugar and flour? And the reason we were doing that is because a lot of the reading I was doing was talking about how sugar and flour affect your hormones and how it creates inflammation. And we really wanted to experiment. So we found that, as short as 2 to 3 weeks after removing sugar and flour, my brain started to feel so clear and my workouts were stronger and I was recovering faster. And I had this like enhanced clarity of thinking that I'd never experienced before. And it's so interesting when you start implementing biohacks in your life and you notice the changes that you feel on a day-to-day basis, you could just never go back. Like, once I've experienced the effectiveness of my thinking after taking sugar and flour out of my diet, there is just no way that I could go back to having that be a regular part of my diet. And this is kind of how we stumbled upon biohacking: is what can we change? How can we measure it? And is this something that is moving me, my relationships, my life, my business? Is it moving me forward? So this is leading me into part of the reason why I wanted to start this podcast. There is this whole field of information available right now on health. I mean, you could look at blogs on recipes and exercise and fitness and sleep, and there's all of this information on health. Then we also have all of this information available as for your business. I mean, you can learn how to do marketing, you could learn how to do funnels, you could learn how to do ads. But what I noticed is that there's nobody addressing this link between biohacking your health and entrepreneurship and how they can work together. I mean, if we are able to optimize the capacity of our brain and our body and use that to successfully create more productivity and energy and clarity and focus in our business, I mean, that just seems like something that is so important to be spending our time on. So I want to be really making that connection between biohacking and directly how it is going to help you scale your business faster. So getting results with biohacking is going to require you to try stuff. But the good thing is I have so many things that you're going to be able to try coming up on episodes of this podcast. So the interesting thing is when you think about it, like inherently entrepreneurs are risk takers. I mean, we put ourselves out there to grow our businesses. You know, we not only do it financially, but we do it from a place of vulnerability. I mean, there's so much risk of failure when you walk into entrepreneurship. So naturally, we're risk takers. You know, we are the type of people that are disciplined and we learn how to show up and go to work even though we don't have a boss. And we are persistent and we are resourceful. If there is something we need to learn or know how to do or want to get, we know how to take the steps to go after that. And so I truly feel that biohacking is made for entrepreneurs. It's all about going out there and testing things and getting results. It's the same way we test if our copy is working or if our sales page is converting or how our ads are performing. We are on the forefront of this whole new wave of how biohacking is the future of entrepreneurship. It's allowing us to successfully do what we do in our business on our brains, and it's all to help further succeed in our business. And I mean, as entrepreneurs, we are so motivated, or at least that's what we want to be doing. And we have a constant desire to improve ourselves. We are constantly reading. We are listening to podcasts. We are taking courses. We are learning ways to expand what we already know. And inherently, we want to win and we want to be the best. And the neat thing is, biohacking allows you to double the work capacity and output you have. I love the idea that we want to create entrepreneurial brains that can get more done in one day than most entrepreneurs can get done in a week. Because when we go to do our focused work blocks, we are entirely present. We are getting stuff done. We are not distracted. We are clear. We make strong decisions quickly. It's not that there are other entrepreneurs that are, inherently more skilled than us. It's just that they are optimized. And I want to teach you how to be optimized so you can compete with the best of the best and take your business as far as you want to go with it. While we can't control everything in our life, we can't control what time our kids wake up, we can't control whether our customers leave or come back, we can't control the number of sales we have. What we can control is our ability to implement things we learn to get results. And with biohacking, my goal is to have you clear and energized and you get everything you need to get done during the day so that when you come home, you can be present with your family and you can be present with your kids. Like, I want you to be able to have just as much energy at the end of the day and not feel like you're falling apart because you're so wiped out from your day. This is one of the best results that I can give you through the work that we're going to do together. So I want to give you a really clear idea of the areas of focus that you're going to be seeing in the episodes of this podcast so you can know what to expect. So I want you to picture a pyramid, and a pyramid has a base and it has a peak, and the base is what keeps it strong. It's the foundation. So there are 3 topics that we're going to be covered that are going to be at the base of your entrepreneurial biohacking journey. The first one is food. We're going to be talking about all kinds of stuff like intermittent fasting and the foods you choose and portion sizes and how foods can either increase or decrease inflammation and things like supplements. So this is part one on the base of our pyramid. The second part is going to be sleep. Sleep is one of those things that is so underrated and does not get enough focus for the amount of results that it produces. We are not only going to be talking about, what sleep is, but what duration we should be getting and the quality we should be getting and how to measure that and effectively make changes to not only our sleeping environment, but our behaviors that are going to get us amazing results with the sleep. Sleep is going to be the 20% of your efforts that's going to give you 80% of the results you're going to feel with biohacking. And we're going to go into all kinds of detail on this on the first few podcasts. So the last of the three components that make up the foundation, the base of our pyramid, is movement. So this doesn't just include exercise, but it includes things like how much time you're spent seated during the day and how many steps you're taking per day and what type of movement you're doing, whether that be interval training or endurance cardio or strength training or yoga. And we're going to look at things like what time of day is the best time to work out or what type is going to get you the most bang for your buck. So let's pull back and take a look at our pyramid again. So on the base, there's things that need to be covered first because these things are going to give you the most results right away. So they're the things we need to master first. And that is the food you eat, the quality of your sleep, and the amount of movement you have in your day. Once you have successfully mastered the three of those, we move up to the next level of the pyramid. And these are the next two things that we're also going to be covering as topics on this podcast. Number one is managing chronic stress. So many entrepreneurs struggle over and over again with feeling overwhelmed or anxious or flustered or frustrated. And this is not conducive to having a business that you enjoy. So we're going to be talking about how to have deep quality downtime and relaxation and how to manage your stress through things like, meditation and creating wind down habits and routines and how to get into flow. Right there with managing chronic stress is learning how to have an effective mindset. So we know that all of the circumstances in the world, they are not causing what's going on in our life. We are responsible for our results. Always, all the time. So what we're going to do is this is going to be the coaching component where we are going to learn how to eliminate beliefs that are no longer serving us and accessing ones that are going to allow our business to grow. It is going to be affecting how we think, how we feel, the actions we take, and the results that we get. So on the bottom of our pyramid, pulling back again, we have food, sleep, and movement. We move up to dealing with chronic stress and mindset. And then after those are mastered, we move up to the peak of our pyramid, the last concept that we're going to be covering over these podcasts, and that's using effective workspace design. So we spend so much time at our desk every single day. We spend all this time sitting, and as entrepreneurs, it's really easy to not get enough movement in or have days that are entirely sedentary. So we're going to be addressing things like how you're set up at your desk, how you're seated, the ergonomics of your workstation. Right now, I'm recording this at a standing desk because I don't want to spend all my day sitting. So we're going to be talking about that, blue light exposure, all the things we can do in our workplace environment to make us more productive. Those are the 6 topics that we are going to be covering in depth on this podcast, and we are going to be biohacking our way through each one at a time. Food, sleep, movement, managing your stress, mindset, and workplace design. Now, that's what we're going to be covering, but we're also going to be doing a little bit of the techie side of biohacking as we go too. And this is kind of what's beyond the pyramid. We're looking at things like our environment and techniques that ground you to the earth and what air temperature is optimal and how the quality affects you. We can look at things like electricity and audio and light. There are so many things that make up biohacking and contribute to an overall higher work capacity. And we will be touching on some of those, but for the most part, we are going to take the approach of the low-hanging fruit. We are going to do the easiest things first that are going to get our biggest results. The purpose of this podcast is going to be to improve your focus. I want the goal to be not to improve your focus 50%, 60%, 70%, but to just think in small increments, 10% at a time, or even 1% at a time. We want to be able to operate at a high performance level, because when we're competing in a workplace, when everyone in your niche is teaching similar skills and concepts or having similar products, if all of those are equal, the entrepreneur that is able to operate at 90% is going to outperform the one operating at 50% every single day. So what's going to be able to differentiate you from others in your space is your ability to pull ahead and stay ahead, because your brain is working for you. So the goal, like I said, I want to be able to provide actionable takeaways at the end of every single podcast that you can go and implement right away. I like to use an analogy from The Matrix. If you've seen that movie, The Matrix, it's the scene where Morpheus offers Neo a red pill and a blue pill. You're going to get that choice at the end of every single podcast. If you choose the blue pill, you're going to go on with your life and not take action on what you learn. You're not going to implement and take the steps to take your brain out of the box and find out what it is truly capable of. But if you choose to take the red pill, that means you are going to take the information that you learned, take action on it, implement it, and start seeing amazing results because you've taken your brain out of the box. I want you to be that entrepreneur that doesn't just listen passively to these episodes, but says, hey, I can really see this making a difference in my life. I am going to take action on this. So your action for today is going to be to download the next episode. The next episode is going to be all about sleep. It is that 20% of your efforts that's going to give you 80% of results. And so before you think to yourself, hey, I've got sleep, no problem, I want you to listen into the next episode. I promise you will learn something great. So going forward, we are going to agree. We're going to take your brain out of the box, see what it is truly capable, and step into that new version of you as a high-performing entrepreneur. I'll see you in the next episode. Ready to begin each day feeling energized and focused? I'd love to work with you one-on-one. In my Becoming Limitless program, you're going to learn how to optimize your brain and body with science and biohacking so you can be highly productive and grow your business faster. Join me over at TanessaShears.com/work with me. I'll see you there.